So we are reading chapter 5, Karma Yoga, Action and Krishna Consciousness. So I was saying that we completed till verse 25. We have to start from 26. So 26, 27, 28, 29. Only 4 verses to go. Let's finish today. But just to catch you up, what is going on is that Krishna is talking about Karma Yoga, how one should practice Nishkam Karma, where one is detached from the results and offer the results to Krishna. Okay. And this type of work is possible only if you have only if you are detached from the fruitive results, only if you're detached from the demands of the senses, from the urges of the mind. Okay, that's what Krishna is saying. So Krishna is saying you have to become learned, you have to become a wise person in order to practice karma yoga. Okay, so that's what we were discussing at one point, that whenever Krishna talks about karma yoga, he also talks about intelligence or acquiring knowledge, because without knowledge, without understanding your identity of self, identity of Lord for whom you are doing the work, it is very difficult to do work for someone that you don't know. So if you want to work for Krishna, how can you work for Krishna unless you know who Krishna is? How can you work for Krishna unless you know who you are? Okay, if you think you are the enjoyer, you are the proprietor, owner of this body, if you think you are the controller of all the actions, or all the enjoyer of all the results, or all the activities that you're doing, then you will want to enjoy them yourself. So, Karma Yoga goes hand in hand with the knowledge, with the understanding that I am a spirit soul, that I'm part and parcel of Krishna, that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, that He is the enjoyer of everything. He is the ultimate benefactor, beneficiary of everything. So, everything needs to be done for Him. Okay. So all the middlemen, okay, need to be removed. Middlemen means our senses that want to enjoy, or our mind that is imposing on us with so many emotions, so many thoughts, and so many desires and things. That mind needs to be taken out of the picture. The world, it's people that are giving us all these doubts and misinformation. The world that is creating all these miseries, all these temptations, right? All these allurements for us. The world that is full of these dualities, with happiness and distress, with success, which is very attached to the success, which is very attached to the happiness, which is very attached to the enjoyments. So all these middle things need to be removed so that the jiva can just work for Krishna. So in order to work like this, one needs some knowledge. One needs to become learned. One needs to become wise, so they can remove all these other layers that are disconnecting us, that are separating us from Krishna. All these layers of our body and of the world, like senses, mind, intelligence, and the various things of the world. So we have to detach from these things. Only then we can really work for Krishna. So that's why, because you may think, why in Karma Yoga Krishna is talking about sense control, right? 5.22 Krishna talks about sense control. Yehi samsparsha jab hoga dukkha yonya evate adi antavanta kaunteya na teshu ramate buddha. They're intelligent people, learned people, do not engage in sense gratification. They do not absorb themselves in the temporary enjoyments of this world. So why is Krishna talking about all this? Because unless you detach from all these things, you will not be able to engage in really karma yoga or nishkam karma. You will not be able to work for Krishna. That karma yoga means working for Krishna. You can't work for Krishna unless you take care of all these other distractions. So that's why we are talking about sense control, mind control, and all this. So various various characteristics or qualities of a learned person are given by Krishna. One of the qualities was 5.18, that he is very humble. He has a spiritual vision, a vision in which he sees all the people as spirit souls, all the people, all the jivas as parts and parcels of Krishna. So he does not internally, on internal level, on the deeper level, at spiritual level, he does not distinguish between an elephant, a cow, a Brahman, or a Chandal. So this learned person has this kind of elevated vision, okay, which most materialistic people will not have. Okay, so Krishna is saying develop this kind of vision. Then Krishna says you should become equipoised. So you should have equanimous vision. You should become equipoised, meaning free from dualities. Okay. you should rejoice within. Okay, Krishna says you should rejoice within. You should have understanding of the science of self and science of God. Okay, then he says you should be free from sense control. And the last verse that we read, he said you should be free from urges of desires and anger. Okay, then you will become a liberated soul, a self-realized soul, and this person will then be on a Brahma Bhuta platform, Brahma Nirvana platform, and he can engage in Karma Yoga. Okay. So these are various characteristics. This person has spiritual vision, he's equanimous, he's equipoised, he's free from dualities, he rejoices within, he's free from desires, anger, sense control, all these things. Now I will show you the um, last few translations so that we can come to the verse today. Okay, so let's just quickly read 23, 20. Let's read 22 to 25, just translations. Can we take turns to read them? Who can read 22?
Hare Krishna, I can read.
Yes.
Text 22. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. Text 23. Before giving up the present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he is well situated and is happy in this world.
Okay. I'll just pause for a minute. So 22 we have memorized, okay? Please remember this. This is one of the 25 verses that we are aiming to learn for Janmashtami. 23, Krishna says, so this point we discussed last time in detail. Krishna is saying before giving up this present body, one has to learn to tolerate the urges of material senses and check the forces of desire and anger. So this is the task given by Krishna for this body. He's saying before giving up this body, before leaving this body, I want you to start tolerating or start controlling your senses and start controlling the urges of desire and anger. While living within this body, you need to master this. So clock is running out. We have certain amount of time before this body will degenerate and expire. So before you give up this body, you need to finish this task of controlling your senses, mind, and intelligence. Then such a person is well situated and happy in this world. Okay. So this here we talked about the importance of human life, that in human life only this is possible to control these urges. Animalistic life is meant to give in to these urges. So that's why animalistic life is called bhog yoni. Okay, bhog yoni. But in human life, we have to practice yoga, not bhoga. So ours is not bhog yoni. Ours is not just for enjoyment, just to give in to the temptation of senses. But ours is a yoga yoni, yoga species, where we have to practice yoga, control, detachment, and attaching with the supreme. So before giving up this body, you need to start mastering this art. And we talked about the value of human life, that how so many scriptures, so many verses we have discussed where value of human life is mentioned, like in Bhagavatam, very important verse comes. Durlabho manusho deho dehinam shan bhangura tatrapi durlabham manne vaikuntha priyadarshanam. That manushya deha is very durlabh to get, and shan bhangura, within a few minutes it's actually gone. Okay, this dehe, this manushya deha or human body will be gone. Our lifetime is actually very short, and especially shorter in Kali Yuga. So, in this lifetime, if you can get darshan of Supreme Lord through this, like through Bhagavad Gita, through the devotees, through various Krishna conscious activities, and that is very, very rare. And one should not take that cheaply. One should really value it and should try to nurture that spiritual association or attraction that one has received in this life. So before giving up this body, Krishna is instructing us to tolerate or get rid of these urges of senses and mind. Can somebody read these two?
I can do it.
Yes, ma'am.
One whose happiness is within, who is active and rejoices within, and whose aim is inward, is actually the perfect mystic. He is liberated in the Supreme, and ultimately he attains the Supreme. 25th, those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubts, whose minds are engaged within, who are always busy working for the welfare of all living beings, and who are free from all sins, achieve liberation in the Supreme. Hare Krishna.
So this is where we had finished. So 24 is basically saying whose happiness is within. So he's not dependent on external things for happiness. His happiness does not depend on external victory or external, wealth or external appreciation from people or fame, popularity or fan following, right? Or wealth, properties, things like that. So he's not dependent on external things or people for his happiness. His happiness is within. So Krishna uses the word anta sukha and anta arama. Arama means he's rejoicing within. He's very comfortably rejoicing, feeling bliss within. Okay, he's turned inwards, and inwards is who is inwards? Inwards is himself and Paramatma. So he's rejoicing with Paramatma. He's rejoicing with the Krishna within, with the Lord. So his happiness is within. Anta Sukha, Anta Arama. His aim, his goal is inward. Okay, he's not externally aimed. Most people are externally oriented, so they want to achieve things in this world. They're very active, very ambitious in this world. They have something to prove. They want to prove things in this world. So they keep, they want more and more money. They want more and more promotions. They have to prove themselves, right? But a Krishna conscious person, a self-realized person, has nothing to prove outside. He has to prove everything to Krishna, okay, by working for Krishna. So he's rejoicing within, he's active within. This person is a self-realized soul. This is a liberated soul. He is already on Brahma Nirvanam platform. Brahma Nirvanam is same as Brahma Bhuta platform or transcendental platform. So he's free from the control of this world. The world cannot control him, right? Most people have become slaves of this world. So they are trying to prove something, whatever the world has dictated, that this is a measure of your success, right? So they are trying to prove that measure of success. They're trying to match up to that. That's the yardstick they are going by. Their yardstick is that I should have so much money, so much bank balance, so many cars or properties, or I should be situated in this world like this, and only then I will be considered successful. So they are measuring themselves according to the yardstick created by the world. So they are very externally oriented. And we know that the world is meant to crush you. The world is meant to bring you miseries. The world is a dukhalyam. It is anityam, asukham lokam. So their enterprise of satisfying the world will never um, succeed, right? So they can never actually feel any eternal peace or happiness. But this person who is trying to please Krishna, who is situated within, who is trying to give satisfaction to Krishna and his senses, working for Krishna, this person will feel eternal bliss and peace, eternal sukham, eternal happiness, because he's on a liberated platform. He's not concerned with the externals, with the world of dualities and world of misery. Okay, so ultimately this person will attain the supreme. So this is the position of a learned person. And then we read this last one, those who are beyond the dualities, right? So we're all talking constantly about the dualities of this world. The world, material world, has dualities in it. There are pluses and minuses. There is sukha and dukkha, happiness and distress, victory and defeat. There is health and sickness. There is money and poverty, like that. So there is always two sides to a coin in this world. So the world is full of dvandva or dualities. Okay. So this person is beyond the dualities. Okay. This person, his mind is engaged within. This person is free from any sins, free from any dualities. He is on a liberated platform, Krishna says, and this person can actually work for the welfare of all living beings. So in the last verse that we discussed, this is the most important point. Who can work for the welfare of all living beings? It is a self-realized soul. It is a liberated soul. Other people, some, charitable institutions, or some social activists or civil right workers, yes, they do help us in physically, they do help us in physical freedom, in physical comforts and conveniences. They help us with the making, let's say, hospitals or orphanages or various other charitable institutions, by investing their money, by investing their time, their resources, their energy. Definitely they help. But that is also temporary, because the body is temporary. So any physical comfort that you can give is ultimately aimed to still help in spiritual growth. Ultimately, that person should still seek a self-realized soul to get ultimate freedom from this world. So the ultimate benefit, ultimate welfare can only be done by a self-realized soul, by a liberated soul who is free himself, and then he can free the other people. So that's why this is the actual welfare. So actual welfare can only be done by people who are free from the externals, free from the influence of the world, influence of the senses. They're not slaves of their senses. They're not slaves of their mind. They're not victims of this world. They're actually free from all of this, and they're actually servants of Krishna. So you have a choice. You can either become a slave of your senses and mind and a victim of this world, or you can become a servant of Krishna. So those that understand their actual position as a servant of Krishna and not to become a victim of their senses and this world, they can actually free other people from becoming victims as well. And that is the ultimate welfare of all living beings. So now we have to start from 26. So let's do this. 5.26. Please recite after me. Kama Krodha Vimuktanam.
कामक्रोधाविमुक्तानां
यतीनां यतचेतसाम्
यतीनां
यतचेतसाम्
यतचेतसाम्
अभीतो ब्रह्मनिर्वाणम्
अभीतो
अभीतो
ब्रह्मनिर्वाणम्
ब्रह्मनिर्वाणम्
वर्तते विदितात्मनाम्.
वर्तते
वर्तते
विदितात्मनाम्.
Who wants to read this one?
I can read it, Mataji.
Yes.
Those who are free from anger and all material desires, who are self realized, self disciplined, and constantly endeavoring for perfection, are assured of liberation in the Supreme in the very near future.
Mataji, let me just show the Sanskrit and then you can continue. So, Krishna is continuing further on the qualities of this liberated soul. So, he is free from kam, okay, desires or lust. Krodha means anger. Vimuktanam, free. So, these people are free from these kam and krodh. Yatinam. Yati means like a sannyasi. Yati means a sannyasi or a self-realized soul, a liberated soul. Yat chetasam, okay? Yat chetasam means um, disciplined people, self-disciplined people. Yatan karna, okay? Yatan means to endeavor, in maintaining this consciousness, to discipline yourself with determination. So that is yatan or yata here, okay? So they are very firmly, very with determination, fixed in this consciousness, in this discipline. Yata chetasam. Abhito. Abhito means very quickly, like abhi, very quickly, in the near future, okay? Brahma Nirvanam. They will get Brahma Nirvanam. They will become liberated. Vartate Viditatmanam. Uh, Vartate Viditatmanam means, Vartate means continuously, okay? These people are continuously engaged in endeavoring for perfection. Vidit Atmanam. They are Atmanam. So they are trying to um, attain self-realization or perfection. So they are continuously endeavoring for perfection. So three things are basically mentioned: people that are free from anger and desires, people that are self-disciplined, and people that are constantly endeavoring for perfection. Such yatis or such self-realized souls will very quickly become liberated. Okay. They're assured of liberation. Prabhupada is saying they're assured of liberation. So these are the characteristics: free from anger and desires, self-disciplined, okay, and constantly endeavoring. So it's a constant struggle. They're constantly trying on a daily basis. They're trying, they're following this discipline. They're very self-disciplined and they free themselves from the anger and the desires. Anger and desires, we discussed last time, these are situated on the platform of mind. Okay. Of course, everything comes from senses also. So senses agitate the mind to cause anger and desires. Sense gratification leads to certain desires, like certain things that we like, we want to enjoy them over and over again. So mind develops this conditioning that I want the senses to enjoy these things in this world. So it starts desiring certain things. Okay. So, and when it does not get those things, it becomes angry. Or when it gets negative things that it did not want, negative sense exposure that it did not want, then also it gets angry. So it can get angry, either it did not get the positive things or it got the negative things. And desires come because it wanted more and more of those positive experiences that it had in the past. So in this way, mind is the seat on which anger and desires sit. Okay. Mataji, you can continue this.
Of the saintly persons who are constantly engaged in striving towards salvation, one who is in Krishna consciousness is the best of all. The Bhagavatam confirms this fact as follows: Yat pada pankaja
Mataji,
palasa.
you can sing it like this. Yat pad pankaj palasha vilas bhaktya कर्माशयं ग्रथितम् उद्ग्रथयन्ति सन्ता तद्वन्नरितामतयोनित्था श्रोतो गणास्तं अर्णं भज वासुदेवम्.
Vasudevam. Just try to worship in devotional service Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even great sages are not able to control the forces of the senses as effectively as those who are engaged in transcendental bliss by serving the lotus feet of the Lord, uprooting the deep grown desire for fruitive activities. In the conditioned soul, the desire to enjoy the fruitive results of the work is so deep rooted that it is very difficult even for the great sages to control such desires, despite great endeavors. A devotee of the Lord, constantly engaged in devotional service in Krishna consciousness, perfect in self realization, very quickly attains liberation in the Supreme. Owing to his complete knowledge in self realization, he always remains in trance. To cite an analogous example of this, Darshanadhyavana.
This is straightforward Bhagavad Gita tune. दर्शन ध्यान संपर्शे मत्य कूर्मा विहंगमा स्वानि पत्यानि पुष्णन्ति तथा हम अपि पद्मजा.
By vision, by meditation, and by touch, only do the fish, the tortoise, and the birds maintain their offspring. Similarly, do I also, O Padmaja. The fish brings up its offspring simply by looking at them. The tortoise brings up its offspring simply by meditation. The eggs of the tortoise are laid on land, and the tortoise meditates on the eggs while in the water. Similarly, the devotee in Krishna consciousness, although far away from the Lord's abode, can elevate himself to that abode simply by thinking of Him constantly. By engagement in Krishna consciousness, he does not feel the pangs of material miseries. This state of life is called Brahma Nirvana, or the absence of material miseries due to being constantly immersed in the Supreme. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for reading. So, okay. So in the beginning, I think the purport is very clear. I'll just point you towards a few sentences here and there. So Prabhupada is quoting a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam that even great saintly persons who are striving towards salvation have a difficult time. Okay. This verse is saying even great sages are not able to control the forces of senses as effectively as those who are engaged in transcendental bliss. Hmm? So people that are endeavoring for self-realization, salvation, that know, even those that have the knowledge, find it very hard to control their senses. Okay. Compared to those that are engaged in direct services of the Lord and are situated in transcendental bliss. So now, question for you all. Who can give me the example of some sages that were trying to control their senses, or some personalities, not sages, that were trying to control their senses but could not control, um, even though they are um, self-realized people? And just give one example each person.
Vishwamitra?
Vishwamitra, yes. Somebody who's
Bharat
trying.
Maharaj.
Bharat Maharaj, sure, in a different way, yes. He got attached to the deer.
The deer.
Um, so it's a more on a mental level, emotional level. What else? But Bharat Maharaj is a devotee, so it's a little, it's not the typical example that
Mataji,
we take in this.
Duryodhan was
Duryodhan is not a self-realized soul, Mataji. He's a completely in the enjoyer mood. So we're talking about, so I'm not neither talking about devotee who may fall down. Devotee falling down is not the same as a impersonalist not able to control. I'm
Durvasa.
talking about
Durvasa Rishi.
Durvasa Rishi is very, very much in control of his senses. So he does not eat anything but durva grass. What are the typical examples from scriptures? Vishwamitra is the best I got so far. Others are a little bit obscure because of the position of the people that you have. And you can say Durvasa Muni, but it's more, yes, he could not control his anger. But tell me more. Yes, Nagarjan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So usually when we are discussing this, the example of Shabari Muni comes.
Yes, perfect example. Shobhari Muni is what I was looking for. So Shobhari Muni, right, who's engaged in controlling the senses. They have detached themselves from this world. They are trying very hard to control their senses. Vishwamitra and Shobhari are such people. They're engaged in austerities. They're engaged in Ashtanga yoga and various other yogic practices. And how did he fall down? What sense control did he lose?
Vision. Well, it's vision and then touch, because he saw fishes. He was meditating inside the water, and he saw fishes um, um, engaging in sexual practice, and then
Hmm.
he got entangled again in the material world. He went and got married and everything.
Hmm. Yes.
So, Mataji, what is the name, Prabhuji? Subari?
Shobari. Shobari Rishi. Shobari Muni, yes.
Where we got this name? Where did
He
you?
was
I
this
did not
story
hear
is
about.
very famously quoted, Prabhu. He
Srimad
was
Bhagavatam is quoted many times, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Oh,
hmm, he was doing austerities underwater, and he saw two fish copulating basically in sexual activity, and he got distracted. Okay. Any other examples come to mind? Okay, any example come to mind where a devotee was being lured, was being offered some temptation, but they will not fall down, like they refused, even though it
My
was.
hand is still up.
I know your hand is up. Who else can? Sheetal Mataji, Namita Mataji. A very famous example of some devotee that was offered very significant temptation, but they will not give in to that because they were engaged in serving in transcendental bliss continuously.
Vishwamitra with Menaka.
Yeah, but so he fell down, right?
He
A devotee. Think of a
what did
hardcore devotee. Okay. Who? Okay, then Nagarjuna Prabhu. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. So Haridas Thakur and Maya Devi.
Haridas Thakur, yes. Haridas Thakur, when Maya Devi came to visit him, so he was, so Maya Devi, very beautiful lady, a prostitute. She was sent to lure Haridas, and Haridas is constantly chanting Lord's names. How many names was he chanting every day? Who knows? He's our Namacharya.
196 malas a day.
Yes, close to 4 lakh names. So he was chanting continuously throughout the day. And Maya Devi, the lady that came to tempt him, he was not distracted by her at all. In fact, he made her into a devotee. So by hearing his pure, his Shuddh Harinam, sitting in front of Tulsi Maharani, she became a devotee. She started chanting actually. Eventually, she shaved off her head and she became a devotee. So, okay, so this is just some examples. And there are many examples of fall downs or people getting distracted, but we are talking here about somebody who's very much trying to control their senses, but not able to control because they're not engaged in direct transcendental bliss. Now, somebody may be a devotee who is loosely practicing and falls down. That's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about people that are struggling. That's a different platform altogether. Here, the comparison is when there is no engagement with no direct association of Krishna, no direct experience of Krishna or transcendental bliss, and you're just dry in a very dry way trying to detach your senses. So the point to prove here is, different aspects of Shastra prove different concepts. Okay, different concepts are learned. So not everything is uniformly applied on everything else. It's not like that. So this verse is trying to prove the concept that by engaging in direct services, in direct devotional activities, one can control their senses much better than if somebody was just trying to detach them dryly. Okay. Somebody says that I will not go out with my friends, or I will not go out to watch a ball game, a cricket game, or to casino, or watch movies late night, or drink liquor late night. Somebody may decide those things, but if they just decide those things in a dry way, based on their own efforts, they may fall down. But when they give themselves a positive engagement, the higher taste of transcendental bliss, when they replace that activity with something that is very divine, very spiritual, which gives them a direct experience of Krishna, then they are able to give up those activities much easier and able to sustain much longer and simultaneously feel this transcendental bliss and achieve the liberated platform. So that's the understanding here. The other point in this verse that Prabhupada is making about how these desire to enjoy the fruitive activities is very deep rooted. So the conditioning is very deep. Millions of lifetimes we have spent in enjoyment, whether in animal life or in human life, or even as demigods at some point. So it's not easy for a conditioned soul, for a Baddha Jiva, to give up these fruitive enjoyments, these external activities, these external temptations. Despite great endeavor, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort to give up these fruitive enjoyments because of our conditioning. Sorry, the other point Prabhupada is mentioning is not that was the same point. The other point is Prabhupada is quoting this beautiful verse, which is talking where Krishna is talking to somebody called Padmaja. Who do you think Padmaja is? Let's hear from Puja Mataji. We want to guess?
Padmaja, is it about Arjun? No.
Okay, I'll tell you. Ja means born. Okay. So Aja means unborn, right?
Unborn. Yeah.
But
Who is
Ja means
Krishna?
born. No, hold on. Let me give you the hint. So Aja means unborn, right?
Yeah.
Ja means born. Padma means born on the lotus. Who is born on the lotus?
Lord Lakshmi.
They
Think of our discussions. We have discussed about a personality that appears on the
No,
lotus.
Brahmaji.
Brahma.
Brahmaji, right. So Krishna is talking to, O Padmaja, or someone who's born on the lotus. He's saying that just by meditation, he's saying some of my living entities like fish, tortoise, and birds are able to maintain their offspring. Just by vision, meditation, and by touch only, these living beings are able to maintain their offspring. Similarly, do I also. So, if these living entities, right, they have no power, they are very small creatures, fish, tortoise, birds, like they're very small in this universe, in the matter of this huge, unlimited universe. These creatures are very helpless sort of creatures. They are able to maintain their offspring from a distance just by vision, by meditation, by touch. So Prabhupada is further elaborating on this example that tortoise brings its offspring simply by meditation. He lays his eggs and meditates on the eggs while in the water, and they hatch, and he's able to maintain them like that. Similarly, birds and fish also just bring up their offspring simply by looking at them. Please don't ask me the science of this or the details of this. This is what Prabhupada has mentioned here, verse is mentioning here. The point is that these little helpless creatures of Krishna, uh, they are able to maintain their offspring from a distance. So Krishna is saying, what to speak of me? My devotees, if they meditate on me, think of what can happen. So my devotees, although they're far away from me, from the Lord's abode, they can elevate themselves simply by thinking of me constantly, by engagement in Krishna consciousness. So just by meditating on me, just by absorbing themselves in Krishna conscious activities, attaching themselves to various divine Krishna related activities and people and paraphernalia, they can attain perfection. They can come back to me. So just like these entities can take care of their children, I can also take care of my children, but all they have to do is to think of me and work for me and meditate on me. So this is the understanding from this verse. Somebody was posting something on the chat. Okay, Nagarjun Prabhu has asked a question on the chat. I have a practical question about how difficult it is to be in this consciousness. Even great munis fall down. We are just dabbling in Krishna consciousness. On the contrary, in Krishna consciousness, we can have some not so nice. In general world, there are people who can have nice exchanges. How do we reconcile this and keep in Krishna consciousness? Okay. Yes, Nagarjun Prabhu, very nice question. Before that, can I just share something on the whiteboard?
Yes.
To simplify all this.
That was just a question to you because I don't know if you want to discuss it or not. So,
Sure.
so it's
I'll
not
just
for
take.
other. So others haven't read it, as Avan said. If they look in the chat, they
You
won't
sent
see
it to
it.
me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. We can just touch on it just a little. But this point about sense control, mind control, about the dualities of this world, miseries of this world, doubts created by the world, all this point keeps coming up over and over again, especially in the first 1/3 of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, those who are closely following the sequence of question answer in Bhagavad Gita, these points keep coming up. Okay, like end of second chapter also Krishna talks a lot about sense control. Sixth chapter is entirely about mind control. So I just wanted to simplify all this. It is very simple and you already all know this, but I like pictorial stuff, so that's why I'll just share this with you. So it's very simple to understand what is going on so that we can understand our position and see what Krishna is talking about, okay? Let's say this is soul, this is super soul, okay? Soul and super soul are situated somewhere in the region of our heart, okay? In this body. We are the soul and Krishna is situated as super soul next to the soul, okay? This soul and super soul is covered by several coverings in this world. One covering is the covering of senses, okay? Senses. Then there is covering of mind. This is a very crude drawing. This is nowhere conveying all the layers. There are many, many layers. There are more layers. but I'm just conveying the most common layers that Krishna addresses. Then there is intelligence, okay? And let's take the whole world and people at large, okay? The world in which we live. So this is the covering, let's say this whole thing is the covering of our body. And then there is the world in which we are situated. So we have two large coverings on us, on the soul. One is the covering of the body, the other is the covering of the world. So in order for the soul to interact with the super soul, okay, in order for soul to be antaha sthita, antaha sukha, meaning situated internally, and just have interactions with Krishna, just work for Krishna, just work for love and establish a relationship with Krishna, it has to break free from these external coverings, okay? All this is external stuff, okay? This is internal stuff. For the soul to situate itself internally, it has to break free from all these external things. The external things that are problem is the world, the nature of this world is that it is made up of dualities, okay? There will always be good and bad. There will always be happiness, distress, victory, defeat. Like we say, two sides to the coin, okay? Which these dualities do not exist in spiritual world, but in physical world, in material world, these dualities exist, okay? So the one problem posed by the world is the duality. That is the nature of this world. The other and the negative aspect of this dualities is miseries. The world is place of miseries, okay? I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry for the wrong spelling. But this place is the world of miseries. Miseries means dukkhalyam ashashvatam. So it will give you adi bauddhik, adi devik, and adhyatmic miseries. Okay, various difficulties. Then what else this world gives you? The world gives you also misinformation. It gives you wrong information. It gives you all this nonsense about how to live, how to conduct our life. It gives you all the wrong information. Okay. So, and what do other layers do? Okay. Intelligence creates doubts. The problem that intelligence does is intelligence creates doubts. Whenever intelligence comes in contact with this world of this misinformation, all this, it becomes very doubtful. It is always doubtful of super soul, of Paramatma, of Krishna. So it always has many doubts. It does not have, like Ramchandra Prabhu was saying, confidence in Krishna or faith in Krishna. Because of the influence of the world, we are very doubtful of our position. So many doubts or misgivings we have. So that's why Krishna talks about becoming free of doubts, becoming free of misgivings, and having just faith in me. Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. So it's not possible if you're in the influence of world, if you're in the influence of intelligence. Mind, what does mind do? The most common problem mind has is desires and anger. That is why Krishna keeps talking about Kam and Krodh. Kam and Krodh he often talks about together. Kam, Krodh, Kam, Krodh. So many verses come, right? Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajoguna, Samudbhava. Mahashno, Mahapapma, Vidiyena, Iha Verinam. So many verses. Raga, Dvesh, Vimuktiste. So many verses like that. Senses, Krishna talks about sense control because senses are also trying to distract us. Something they want to eat, something they want to listen, something they want to eat or hear or see or touch or speak or go, all these things. So senses are also causing external distraction. So all these things are causing distraction. That's why Krishna keeps talking about them over and over again. He talks about sense control. He talks about Kam and Krodh Vimuktanam, that you have to give up anger and desire, urges of mind. You have to become free from doubts and misgivings. You have to become free from the dualities. You have to detach yourself from the miseries posed by the world, and you have to stop listening to the world, the misinformation, and start listening to me. So until we have influence of all these things, senses, mind, intelligence, and world, it is very difficult for the soul to be situated internally. So most of the people, 99.9% people are not karma yogis or yogis. They are on external platform. They are on the bodily and worldly platform, and they're distracted by all these other things going on. But for a yogi means somebody who's connected to Krishna. This is yoga. This is internal. This is attachment to the Lord, knowing its position as the part and parcel servant of Krishna, its goal to serve Krishna, its goal to invoke its relationship with Krishna. So this is where everything needs to be channeled. This is internal situation. So I just wanted to clarify that, because the lot of the words, or when you're preaching, a lot of concepts become clear if we understand what is going on, what is our position. Krishna keeps clarifying our position. Your position is that you are bahirmukh. You are not antarmukh. You are turned away from Krishna. Like there is a beautiful verse, it says, Krishna bhuliya se jiva anadi bahirmukha ateva maya tare deya samsara dukha. Krishna bhuliya se jiva, having forgotten this internal relationship with Krishna, Jiva has become Anadi Bahirmukha. From Anadi Kal, from time immemorial, the Jiva has become Bahirmukha, or externally situated in this external world, all this world that I told you about. Ateva Maya Tare, and that is why the Maya has captured him. Deya Samsara Dukha, and is giving him misery, giving him difficulties. So this is what detachment means, to free from all of this. And we say that Krishna consciousness path, devotional service, is the easiest way to bring all these things in your control. To become free from the doubts, become free from the anger, desires of the mind, become master of the senses, and to become detached from the dualities, miseries, and misinformation of the world. This is just a simplified, very basic understanding of many concepts of Bhagavad Gita. Anybody has any questions about this?
Mataji, very quick question, Mataji. I won't take much time.
Yes,
One, so whenever we are connecting all these things, means Krishna consciousness, my friends and outside people, they are thinking that I am going into a mentally incapable or mad, or he's uh, is going away from the society, because all my friends are enjoying a lot, trips, drinks, Fridays. You understand, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu.
I cannot talk. I'm not talking about Bhagavad Gita anywhere with any friends. But even though wherever I am going, they are observing and saying that he is mentally. So they are scary. I'm done, Mataji.
Sure. Yes, Prabhu, this is a very common experience of most devotees.
The Ansh Prabhu is saying ki talking about friends, my own parents think that about me.
Sure.
Yes,
That's okay.
yes, actually, Mataji, I understand.
Right. Yeah, sure. And that's okay. Like in an asylum, when if a normal person goes to visit, right? All the mad people there think that he's mad. All the mad people think they're normal, and this person is mad. So all the mad people are doing all kinds of things there in the asylum. Like somebody is um, melting things with the candle, eating the wax. Somebody who is like 60 years old, playing with the little toys and uh, enacting like house play. Somebody is dancing like a madman. And then this normal person walks in and they want him to do all those things. They want him to eat wax and melt objects with the candle, and they want him to dance like a madman, and they want him to enact house play with them. All these things. They want to do all these things. But the normal person knows that he's not the mad person here. These people are all mad. But he's the only one there. He's the odd one out. So he's labeled as, everybody thinks that he's mad. But that's the reality separate from illusion, right? Everybody else is an illusion, and this is the reality. But they won't hear your reality because they're all an illusion. So that's okay. When their time will come, when they understand what is reality, you're just, everybody's in a dreamlike state and thinking that that dream is the reality. But you have woken up, so you understand what is dream versus what is reality. So you're awake to the reality, and so you're odd one out in a society of karmis or wrongdoers or people that are in illusion. So we should accept that I'm the odd one out. That's okay. This is the the norm of this world, that the spiritualists are typically labeled as mad or mentally incapable. But actually, Krishna conscious people are very, very smart. They are, like Prabhupada was saying, Krishna is saying, they are able to contribute to the actual welfare of the society. So the actual welfare, actual contribution to the society is made by people that are Krishna conscious, because they are actually in touch with the reality. So when difficulties come, they are not very easily distracted, not easily moved. But when all these people that are in so much enjoyment, when difficulties come, they're completely broken and torn, and they're not able to tolerate. They're not able to. They're using their body for enjoyment. They're becoming a victim of their body. So it won't last long, right? How long can
Mm.
all this drinking and partying and all this last? Um, so
And
I mean, even the higher functioning people of this world, like leaders, they follow strict discipline, like waking up
yeah,
early, avoiding the intoxicants, sleeping early, avoiding too much like TV or too much binging on things. So the higher functioning people actually do not indulge in all these things that you're describing.
yes,
um, so even in this world also, the correct understanding is that if you want to be a very topmost performer, a peak performer, you need to follow a certain discipline,
yes,
right? So it's
yeah.
so
If, yeah, whoever thinking like that, we are not in that, no chance to think about that also. Mataji. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I'm silent. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yes, Prabhu.
just thank you.
Let's continue because we have to finish this chapter. So let's continue. This next one is quick. Krishna is talking about Ashtang Yoga, so we won't dwell too much on it. Let's read and recite this. Sparshan kritva bhayams.
Darshan
Sparshan
Kritva
kritva
Bahirbayams
चक्षुश्चैवान्तरे भ्रुवो
चक्षुश्चयमान्तरे
चक्षुश्चैवान्तरे
भ्रुवो
भ्रुवो
प्राणपानौ समौ कृत्वा
प्राणपानौ समौ कृत्वा
नासाभ्यन्तरचारिणौ
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 यतेन्द्रियमनोबुद्धिर्
यतेन्द्रियमनोबुद्धिर्
मुनिर्मोक्षापरायणा
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 विगतेच्छा क्रोधो
विगतेच्छा
विगतेच्छा
विगतैच्छाभया
भया
क्रोधो
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 यः सदा मुक्त एव सः.
यः
यः
सदा
सदा
मुक्त
मुक्त
एव
एव
सः.
सः.
Okay, please read this.
Secondly, clearing out all external sense objects, keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows, suspending the inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence, the transcendentalist aiming at liberation becomes free from desire and fear and anger. One who is always in this state is certainly liberated.
Mataji, let's skip the purport for this because this is talking about
Okay.
Ashtanga Yoga. We'll go to the next verse, which is most important, but let me just show you this verse. So, this is saying, sparshan kritva bahirbhamya. So, this is saying that shutting out all external sense objects, okay, keeping your eyes concentrated between the two eyebrows, like your vision concentrated between the two eyebrows, suspending your pran, your incoming and outgoing breath within the nostril, so you're controlling your pran, and controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence. So this is all the various limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. Anybody remembers the limbs of Ashtanga Yoga? Quickly want to quote. Yum.
Yes, ma'am.
Eyes.
Yes, Madhuri, go ahead. Yum, niyam.
Asana,
Uh-huh.
pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, and dhyana and samadhi.
Yes, Hari Bol. Perfect. Yes. So these are the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. So Krishna is describing that this is how you can. So we remember we were just drawing and talking about the external world. So Krishna is saying how you can detach yourself from the external world. One way is this. Okay. This is one way of doing things, which is Ashtanga Yoga. So you can withdraw yourself from all external sense objects. So this is like Pratyahar. Just to quickly cover, Yam means don'ts, like not to not do certain things, restraints like regulations, like we have rules and regulations. So Yam is regulations, not doing certain things. For example, we follow the 4 regulative principles: no gambling, no intoxication, no meat eating, and no illicit relationships. So in this way, certain things that you don't do. So that is Yam. Niyam is to do certain things, like certain rules that we follow. For example, we follow the rule of chanting certain number of rounds every day, or we keep Ekadashi, we read Bhagavad Gita, we read Srimad Bhagavatam. So certain do's and don'ts. And then asan. Asan means physical poses or physical stretches and exercises that people do to regulate their body. Pranayam means breath control. So Krishna is here talking about the controlling your life hairs or breath control, breathing exercises. Pratyahara is sense withdrawal, which is this. So to shut out all external sense objects. Sense objects are Vishaya. So to shut out the Vishaya, the Tanmatras, also called Tanmatras, to shut out the sense objects, to not engage with various forms or smells or sounds or whatever objects, to so that your senses are not lured. This is Pratyahara. Dharana is to focus your mind, to concentrate. Okay, so you can concentrate like this. Krishna is saying, focus your vision between the 2 eyebrows. The dhyan is a deeper concentration, so it is meditation. Okay, more focused. So controlling the mind like that with dhyan. And then samadhi is a very advanced spiritual absorption, complete absorption in the Supreme, in the Paramatma, being in a trance, in a spiritual state. That is trance or samadhi. So those are the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. This is one way of detaching yourself from the external things that we were talking about, the senses, mind, intelligence, and the world and its people. So you can start practicing this if somebody wants. But Prabhupada says in the end, towards the end, that actually Krishna consciousness is the easiest process of executing yoga principles. This process of Ashtanga Yoga is more gradual. Krishna consciousness actually already includes these various limbs like do's and don'ts and sitting in absorption or meditating on the Supreme, Smarnam. All these things are already included in Krishna consciousness or devotional activities. And we don't need to separately practice Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is used by the devotees when they practice their various devotional activities. So they use certain sense control, breath control, physical control, do's and don'ts, and absorption and smarnam, etc. And in that way, they're able to do their devotional activities in a much better way. They employ Ashtanga Yoga in various Krishna conscious activities. But by itself, the Ashtanga Yoga itself is a very gradual way of advancement. So then Prabhupada say, this is a better way of controlling the senses than by Ashtanga Yoga. And now Krishna will also himself say, what is the ultimate way. So this is the verse that we have to memorize. Very, very beautiful, very important verse. When people talk about world peace, when people talk about Shanti, about eternal peace, then this verse is quoted as the peace formula or formula of peace from Bhagavad Gita. This is the eternal peace formula. So let's see what this is. Bhoktaram yagyatapasam
Bhoktaram
Yajnatapasam
Yagitapasam
Sarvaloka Maheshwaram
Sarvaloka Maheshwaram
Suhridam Sarvabhutanam
Suhridam Sarvabhutanam
Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati.
Gyatva Mam Shantimurichati.
We'll recite it a few times, but let's see the Sanskrit and translation. Can somebody read this?
Hare Krishna, I can read.
Yes.
A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, let's look at the Sanskrit. So please listen to this. Even if you were not paying attention so far, please pay attention to this verse. Because this will simplify everything, why we are doing what we are doing, give you more faith, give you more confidence when doing these Krishna conscious activities. So it becomes easy to answer to the people of this world why we are doing what we're doing, okay? And to answer to yourself. So we become more convinced. We have to convince ourselves, okay? Before we convince other people, we have to convince ourselves why we are doing this. So this is the verse that will convince you, okay? So Krishna says Bhoktaram. Okay, Bhoktaram means enjoyer or beneficiary. Yagya means sacrifices. Tapasa means austerities. So Krishna says that I am the beneficiary or enjoyer of all yagyas and tapasas, of all sacrifices and austerities. So basically, whatever things you do, whatever ritualistic ceremonies you do, yagyas you do some tapasya, you do some sense control, you do some ashtanga yoga, you do some karma yoga, whatever you do, what kind of yoga, whatever kind of yoga, whatever kind of even deity worship, demigod worship, homams, yagyas, I am the enjoyer, the bhokta of all of those things. Sarvalok Maheshwaram. Why? Because I am the Sarvalok of all the lokas, of all the worlds. I am the Maheshwar. Not just Ishwar, Maheshwar, Maha Ishwar, meaning I am the God of all gods. Ishwar means maintainer. Okay, Ishwar means like a small maintainer. So, like for example, all the demigods can be referred to as Ishwaras. But of all those Ishwaras, I am the Maheshwar. I am the topmost Ishwara. I am the topmost maintainer of all the lokas. I am the God of all gods, basically Adi Deva, the original God, the ultimate, the supreme personality of Godhead. So that's why Prabhupada uses this term, the supreme personality of Godhead, that he's the Godhead, he's the fountainhead of all gods, all the maintainers. So Sarvalok Maheshwaram. That is why I am the enjoyer, right? Whoever made everybody else is the enjoyer, is the proprietor, is the owner, is the maintainer of all those things. Okay. So this is the first two lines. So basically, Krishna is saying, I am the most powerful person. I'm the topmost owner. I am the only proprietor, the maintainer, the source of all sources, the cause of all causes. I am the owner of all the money that is there in this world. I am the owner of all the opulences, all the good qualities that are there in this world. I'm the one from whom everything originates, basically. So I am the enjoyer of all those things also. Sarvalok Maheshwaram. Now that person is saying, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. Suhridam means friend. I am the Suhrid. I am your well-wisher. Not just yours. Sarva Bhutanam, of all living entities, not just human beings, not just males or females or Indians or Americans, or he's not saying I'm not a suhrid for, let's say, Muslim people or Afghanis or Iranians or Ukrainians or Russians or Mexicans. No, Sarva Bhutanam. He's not saying I am not the suhrid for aquatics or for terrestrial animals or for land-based animals or for animals that walk on four legs or that walk on two legs or that fly in the air or that swim in the water. No, he's saying all, Sarva Bhutanam. I am the best friend, the well-wisher of all living entities. Gyatva Mam. And in case you have any doubt about who that person is, he said that is me, Mam. Knowing me to be that person, Shanti Mrichati. You should get peace. Now somebody can say, why should we get peace with this? Because we just said that he is the, let's say, let me ask somebody. Let's say, Ramchand Prabhu, I tell you, this person, there is a person who is the owner of everything. The car that you have, the job that you have, the money that you have, even the children that you have, the house that you have, the lands, the friends, everything that you have, the life that you have, the body that you have. There is a person who is owner of all of these things. Okay? So, and he's the controller of everything. He's Maheshwar. Ishwar means controller. He's the topmost controller of everything. So he can control all these things for you. Now, I also tell you this person is your best friend. That person exists who controls all these things, and that person is your best friend. He's your suhrid, he's your best friend, he's your well-wisher. Is that not very peaceful to know that there is such a person in this world who owns everything that I have, and that person is my best friend?
Yes, just peaceful.
Lucky.
That is ultimate peace formula, or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So that is why Krishna says that suhridam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam. Once you know this, shanti mrichati, then you should get peace. What is there to worry about? Why would you not work for me when I gave you this job, when I gave you this body to do that job, when I gave you the qualities to do that job, the time, the talent, the skills, the parents that brought you up so that you could become trained to do this job? Then why won't you do this karma yoga for me? Right? Why won't you bring up your children to become part and parcels of me, submit to me when I am their best friend? You cannot wish them well enough. I am their suhrid. You may be their well-wisher, but I am their topmost well-wisher. So why would you not put your Krishna in my, would put your children in my service? Why would you not make the whole world Krishna conscious when I am the suhrid of all these living entities? What is the reason to use anything in your own sense gratification when your senses just make you their slave? They make you, they entangle you in this world. They keep bringing you into this world of miseries and dualities and misinformation. Why would you become a slave and victim of that world, that senses, that mind, that intelligence? Why won't you submit to me when I am your best friend? So, knowing me to be your best friend, that person who is Maheshwar, who is the enjoyer of everything, you should get Shanti. Shanti Mrichati. So this is the eternal peace formula. Let's read this purport before we try to memorize this verse. Mataji, you want to continue?
Yes. The conditioned souls within the clutches of the illusory energy are all anxious to attain peace in the material world. But they do not know the formula for peace, which is explained in this part of the Bhagavad Gita. The greatest peace formula is simply this: Lord Krishna is the beneficiary in all human activities. Men should offer everything to the transcendental service of the Lord because He is the proprietor of all planets and the demigods thereon. No one is greater than He. He is greater than the greatest of the demigods, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. In the Vedas, Shvetashvatara Upanishad,
Shvetashvatara. Shvetashvatara.
Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.7, the Supreme Lord is described as Tam Ishwaram
Ishvaran.
Paranam
Paramam.
Maheshwaram. Paramam Maheshwaram. Under the spell of illusion, living entities are trying to be lords of all this survey, but actually they are dominated by the material energy of the Lord. The Lord is the master of material nature, and the conditioned souls are under the stringent rules of material nature. Unless one understands these basic facts, bare facts, it is not possible to achieve peace in the world, either individually or collectively. This is the sense of Krishna consciousness. Lord Krishna is the supreme predominator, and all living entities, including the great demigods, are his subordinates. One can attain perfect peace only in complete Krishna consciousness.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
So from this first paragraph, so the word bhoktaram means the beneficiary, meaning to the enjoyer, to whom everything should be offered. He's the enjoyer of all our activities. So everything should be offered to him. He's the beneficiary. Suhridam means he's the benefactor of everyone, meaning he's the well-wisher of everyone. So the person who is your benefactor, okay, to him we give everything basically. He's the beneficiary of everything. The other part I wanted to draw your attention to is that we are trying to become the lord of the material nature. We are artificially, everybody's trying to control this world. Everybody's trying to control, to become the lord, right? They're trying to exert their position, their power, acquire name, fame, everything in this world. So that does not work. That brings only problems and miseries and does, takes you away from peace. It gives you fears and anxieties. It gives you lamentation. because that is an artificial position. You are not supposed to be the lord of this world. So when you try to become lords in this world, meaning you try to do things just for yourself, it brings you miseries, it brings you anxieties, it brings you fear. Okay. Why? Because it is not possible. You are not the lord of this world. So if you're trying to exert your lordship in this world, it will not work, it will backfire. And so that's why everybody is in a difficult situation. Everybody is in anxiety and fear. And what do these people are dukhi? These people are dukhi individually, and the whole nation is dukhi collectively, because nations are trying to impose on other nations their superiority, their power. Everybody's trying to exert their power, their superiority, their dominance over others, or over this world, over Prakriti. And that backfires because that is not our natural position. Our natural position is to be the servant, not the leader. So when you try to just lord it over, it brings difficulties, it brings fears and problems. So what do these people do? What do dukhi people do? They make others dukhi also, right? That's why there are so many wars. They cannot see others come up in this world. So there are invasions, there is wars for power, trying to extend your borders, wars between families, people trying to get properties unfairly from each other. Right, brothers are fighting, people are siblings are fighting. In the community there are fights. Why? Because everybody's trying to exert their dominion, their dominance, uh, over others. But that only creates more miseries, individually and collectively. So we should have a common, for peace. Prabhupada used to say, in order for world peace, we should have a common father. If we want to become, if we want brotherhood in this world, how can brotherhood be possible if there is no common fatherhood? So since there is no common fatherhood, there is no brotherhood possible. That's why there is no world peace possible, because people are not submitting to the Supreme Lord. Uh, each person has their own selfish agenda, selfish motives for which they do things. A country has its own selfish motive, a community has its own selfish motive, a person has their own selfish motive. They're just trying to gratify their own senses, their own mind. And so, individually and collectively, the peace is not possible. So, on individual level, each person is in difficulty, distress, anxiety, and collectively, as a community, as a society, as a country, and the world, we are in anxiety and fear and constantly lamenting, constantly at war, uh, because peace is not possible when there is no common father, there is no common submission to the Supreme Lord. So perfect peace is possible only in complete Krishna consciousness. Can somebody, is there anybody else that wants to read the second paragraph of this?
I can read, Mataji.
Yes.
This fifth chapter is a practical explanation of Krishna consciousness, generally known as Karma Yoga. The question of mental speculation as to how Karma Yoga can give liberation is answered herewith. To work in Krishna consciousness is to work with the complete knowledge of the Lord as the predominator. Such work is not different from transcendental knowledge. Direct Krishna consciousness is Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga is a path leading to Bhakti Yoga. Krishna consciousness means to work in full knowledge of one's relationship with the Supreme Absolute, and the perfection of this consciousness is full knowledge of Krishna or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A pure soul is the eternal servant of God as his fragmental part and parcel. He comes into contact with Maya, illusion, due to the desire to lord it over Maya, and that is the cause of his many sufferings. As long as he is in contact with matter, he has to execute work in terms of material necessities. Krishna consciousness, however, brings one into spiritual life even while one is within the jurisdiction of matter, for it is an arousing. Can you pull up Mataji, please? For it is an arousing of spiritual existence by practice in the material world. The more one is advanced, the more he is freed from the clutches of matter. The Lord is not partial towards anyone. Everything depends on one's practical performance of duties in Krishna consciousness, which helps one control the senses in every respect and conquer the influence of desire and anger. And one who stands fast in Krishna consciousness, controlling the above mentioned passions, remain factually in the transcendental stage or Brahma Nirvana. The Eightfold Yoga mysticism is automatically practiced in Krishna consciousness because the ultimate purpose is served. There is a gradual process of elevation in the practice of yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. But these only preface perfection by devotional service, which alone can award peace to the human being. It is the highest perfection of life. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so I think everything that we discussed, Prabhupada is summarizing it here. That Karma Yoga, this chapter was about Karma Yoga, and Karma Yoga is possible only if we have the knowledge of self and knowledge of Krishna. And perfect knowledge of Krishna is possible through Bhakti Yoga, through Krishna consciousness, full knowledge of Krishna, so that we understand that we are servant of the God and we're supposed to work for Him, not for ourselves. Then you will be able to engage in Karma Yoga. In satisfying the Supreme. If you understand you are His servant, you work for Him then, right? But right now we are in illusion, in Maya. We think we want to lord it over Maya. So that's why we work for ourselves. We think we are the enjoyer. That's why we work for ourselves, trying to enjoy the fruitive activities. But as we keep practicing this, the more one is advanced, the more one gets freed from the clutches of matter. This line, I'll just read again. This line is the most significant line. This line. Krishna consciousness, however, brings one into spiritual life even while one is within the jurisdiction of matter, for it is an arousing of spiritual existence by practice in the material world. So here Prabhupada is saying, this Krishna consciousness does not demand that you become detached first, right? In Ashtanga Yoga, people are practicing detachment first. They're trying to control without submitting to Krishna. But in Krishna consciousness, one gets an experience of spiritual life, the spiritual bliss, and some detachment even while within the jurisdiction of matter. So you are engaged in your work, you are engaged with your family, you're doing things in the community, in the home, or with your profession, but your spiritual life already starts through this process. You already start getting some experience of Krishna in your life. And so that's why Krishna consciousness process is so powerful, because you don't have to give up too much and you start experiencing spiritual bliss or transcendental bliss. So this line I wanted to draw your attention to. But ultimately, this verse is talking about the topmost position of Krishna, how is the supreme controller, maintainer, proprietor, owner of everything. He's the Maheshwar, he's the enjoyer, and so everything should be done for him. And we should know that he's the best friend, well-wisher of all living entities, and there is no other well-wisher in this world that can compare to him. So knowing this, we should do everything for him, his satisfaction, his love, and try to establish relationship with that supreme best friend that we have, and feel shanti, that we are not part of this world, we are his part and parcel, and we have this eternal relationship with him. And that person is the most powerful person of this world. So I think we can spend like 5 minutes memorizing this verse. Anybody has any questions or realizations? But otherwise, we have finished this chapter. And there were many important concepts. Anybody has any questions about those? We can also discuss those next time if you want to go through this chapter again. And we'll have Kahoot next time.
I had a question, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
So, what is the difference between a devotee falling down in their spiritual journey or in Krishna consciousness compared to anybody else, falling down in their spiritual journey, so called?
So there are 3 types of people. Okay. One is karmis. They may also be trying to control their senses, like we were talking about some leaders, some influencers, motivational speakers that are trying to perform really well in this world. They're also trying to control their senses to a certain extent. Like I know of so many celebrities and all that don't indulge in alcohol or late nights, and they wake up early in the morning and follow a very strict schedule and discipline, right? But they're not engaged in any spiritual path or devotional path. So there are those people. Then there are spiritualists who know that they need salvation or mukti, moksha, but they are not necessarily attached to Krishna. Okay, those are called impersonalist jnanis or yogis. So they will give up their home, they will give up their families, may give up their profession. They will not touch any money because they think that coming in contact with money is very harmful for a spiritualist. They will completely detach themselves from this world, uh, and not engage with the people of this world, not meet with anyone or do anything, because anything can distract them, right? So there are that type of spiritual path, but they're not necessarily engaged in any devotional activities. And the third kind is the devotees, the bhaktas, who are engaged in transcendental divine activities through the 9 limbs of devotional service, through Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, Padsevanam. Is that right? Is that clear that there are 3 types, right? First part of my answer.
Yeah.
So, Prabhupada and our Vedic literature constantly gives us examples and states that the easiest way to achieve detachment is by attaching to the divine, by transcendental attachment, by attaching to the Krishna conscious activities through the Navda Bhakti, through the 9 limbs of devotional service. Okay. The other 2 people, if they are muktis or bhukti, mukti bhukti, so bhukti means people that are engaged in bhoga, right? Kami people, karmi people, bhukti you can say. Or people that are desirous of mukti, mumukshu people, salvation or liberation, those type of people, they have a harder time controlling their senses. Okay. So they are, first of all, taking a lot of effort to control their senses and to detach from this world. Secondly, they are more likely to fall down. Okay. Devotees are less likely to fall down. Okay. So your question is, what is the difference? The difference is, one, they are less likely to fall down. Secondly, they have experienced in whatever journey they had. Let's say I was only practicing for 2 years, but after 2 years, I decided to start exploring some karmi life also. I started going out with people and stopped following the regulated principles, started drinking alcohol again, and meat eating again, and other things, enjoying this world. Okay. So essentially, I've fallen down. But the taste will still remain of that transcendental bliss I experienced in those couple years that I did practice. Okay. Not only the taste will remain, but also I got so much mercy in those 2 years. I did service to Krishna in those 1 or 2 years that I was practicing, that has been registered in my eternal credit, and it will not go away. So it will be easier for me to come back to spiritual path because I have that taste. I have felt that profound, deep bliss inside my heart, right? That that taste is already there. As soon as I come in contact with devotees again, I'll be like, oh, why did I start this again? Why did I got distracted? So it'll be easy for me to come back. And secondly, even if I did not come back in this life, those eternal credits have been given to me so that I may be able to start from next life, because Krishna will not forget that 1 or 2 years of, or 1 week or 2 days or 2 hours of service that you rendered to him. Krishna is the Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. He will not forget. So that has been registered as your eternal credit. Whereas whatever you did separate from Krishna for moksha, for becoming best in this world, for top performance, right? That will not give you eternal credits. There is no mercy in that path. There was no bliss felt in that path. So the karmis were just always trying to impress other people, right? That's why they were doing those things anyways. So as soon as they stop getting any reciprocation from the people of this world, a film star stops getting movies, they may stop getting up early in the morning, right? They may, so since they are attached to the external results and awards, they will fall down very quickly. Plus, they did not get any mercy. They did not get any eternal credits. They did not get the transcendental bliss. Same thing with the other impersonalist type of spiritual seekers who did not attach themselves to the transcendental limbs of devotional service, 9 limbs of devotional service. They were not in direct experience of Krishna. They were not getting any direct taste of Krishna consciousness, like serving Krishna's devotees, reading scriptures, going to the dham, going to the temples, serving in the festivals, singing kirtan, chanting holy names, meditating on Krishna's lotus feet. They did not get any of that happiness. They did not feel that bliss ever. So it'll be hard for them to come back if they fall down. And they are more likely to fall down than the devotees. Devotees also fall down because they're struggling, but they tend to come back quickly. They tend to get eternal credits, and that mercy they receive will never go away. Does that make sense, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's try to memorize this verse, if that's okay, just a couple minutes, and we can take more questions next time. Please read this whole chapter. If you can read purports, fine. If you cannot, then just read the translations at least. But I'm going to stop the recording. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.